the universities of Pretoria and Leicester are revolutionising the way tuberculosis is detected. They've invented a 3D printed face mask that they claim can detect millions of missed infections. For more on this, I'm joined by the head of Department in the Infectious Diseases Division at the University of Pretoria, Professor Anton Stolz. Very good morning,
to you.
Yeah. It sounds fantastic. I have no idea how it works.
Okay. The old way of looking at TB was always that we had to give sputum. That's quite messy, and it's always difficult to get sputum from everybody. So we decided a few years ago, if you would put a mask on a patient, it can be almost any mask. We use a FFP1 mask, it's a dust mask, and inside we have 3D printed a piece of PVA. Now, PVA is a polyvinyl polymer. What is happening with it is that it is soluble in water, and we use it to actually catch whatever is coming out of your mouth. So when you cough or you breathe, what is happening the whole time, small particles are leaving your mouth, and then we catch it. And in this breath, basically, are the TB bacilli. So that is the way it works, basically.
It seems incredibly obvious.
Yeah, it actually sounds, why haven't everybody thought about it? Now, we've been working about 10 years on looking at these particles coming out of the mouth, but with different methods. This is the first time that we actually work with Leicester University that actually has used a mask, and we started off with gelatin, and then actually it progressed to where we actually 3D print this plastic, and then what is happening is that it can actually catch TB coming out of the mouth.
And why is that important?
I think what is happening with the sputum, what we have shown in the Lancet article that was published, is that the sensitivity of sputum is not much higher than 20%. Compared to what we can do is that we can every time get these particles out of the mouth, and what we get is our sensitivity goes up to around about 86%. So that tells you that every time that I try to find TB in you, it's much easier and much better.
And once you found that TB, what do you do with that information?
All right. So the first thing, perhaps I must say, is that there's something that is called the missing millions. Now, the missing millions, around about 4.1 million people were seen by the WHO in 2018 to be missed with TB. Now, that is exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to find the missing millions. But in our studies, what we found was that we can actually see TB much earlier than any other test. Using sputum, we have found that we don't find it always. And then what the other thing is, we can find TB with these small particles up to 6 weeks earlier than any other test that we have seen up to now.
So I assume then that your chances of survival getting better are much stronger.
So the advantage is, one, I can treat you earlier, of course, less lung disease. The other thing that is important is that if I'm infected and I don't see that you are ill, what can happen with you is that you can still transmit disease. So that is a big story, because then what I can do is that I can actually find you earlier, stop transmission earlier, and that will actually stop the whole TB cycle, what is happening.
If somebody thinks they might have it, or the sort of symptoms that you should look for?
Okay, usually what we do is that we look at patients, and what they have is a cough, more than 2 weeks, and then also they have weight loss and night sweats. Now, in our study, what we have done is we have actually taken 20 patients that just had those symptoms, and then what we did is we studied them. With the sputum, we found only 2 of them positive, and with the mask, 6 of them positive. Eventually, we saw that if I would start treating them earlier, then I could actually stop disease. And we've done that with PET scans. We actually looked at what is happening in the lung. Although the normal sputum can't see it, the mask saw it, and then eventually we could actually see it on PET scan. And then when we treated them, it all went away.
What an incredible development. Hope you do find those missing millions.
Thank you.
Professor, thank you.
Thank you.
Still